Welcome to Temporal Dispatch, a new series where I'll be zooming in on one Star Trek story at a time. These focused reports will let me dig deeper than the weekly headlines. And today's deep dive is all about DECA Games' first live stream since taking the helm of Star Trek Online. Now, Captains, if you find this type of reporting valuable, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share it with your fellow fleet mates. Now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Today, we are unpacking DECA Games' first public appearance as STO's new caretakers during the July 15th 10 Forward weekly stream. This wasn't just a hello, we exist moment. It was kind of a mix of promises, some candid admissions, some hopeful pivots, and some notable omissions. So let's break it down. The first thing we're going to talk about is apparent shift in storytelling. And creative director Rich Hayden confirmed that after the current multiverse spanning arc concludes, an arc that has now been extended with some additional episodes to allow for more breathing room, STO storytelling will pivot toward smaller, character-focused narratives. This isn't just a change in tone, it's kind of a change in approach. So, according to Hayden and the lead designer, Jeremy Randall, who we all know as Bordicus, the future arc plans are already pitched to Paramount, and they lean into themes familiar from newer Trek shows, some of the personal dilemmas, quiet moral questions, and open-ended choices that don't revolve around saving the galaxy. Paramount apparently approved 3 of those storylines already, and it shows DECA wants players to kind of stop hopping from cosmic threat to cosmic threat, and instead of focus on stories that let them reflect, explore, and connect. And I think that's great. For longtime players that are tired of these non-stop action, multiversal, universe-ending story arcs of recent years, this shift could be a really welcome news. One of the most encouraging moments was DECA's respectful continuation of plans made by former Cryptic leadership, including Al Rivera and Paul Reed. The current arc, which started with Kings and Queens and was originally set to end with the 16th anniversary, has been kept largely as planned. Minor updates have been made for pacing and clarity, but there has been no drastic rewrite. In an industry where new leadership often kind of scraps old ideas to leave their own mark, this level of continuity is rare. Hayden, Randall, and the writer Flo are treating the legacy material something along the lines of baton passed, not a script redo, which is really refreshing approach. I don't know how many times you've heard me talk on this channel about this need for people to constantly change what Star Trek is, and they want to make it into something their own and different. And this is really refreshing when you have people who are willing to honor not only the Star Trek legacy, but the legacy of the people that came before. And it was a really good moment in the stream. Now, like everything in life, there are good sides and the bad sides. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the downsides. When asked about improving the tutorial and making it easier for new players to understand STO's complex systems, the DECA team admitted that there are no solid plans yet. Um, they kind of made the generic suggestion to join the Discord. As someone who's dropped the game years ago for that very reason, I can say that's not enough. Discord is not a tutorial. It's messy, it's crowded, and assumes players are already invested. And if even DECA's own new hires are having genuine trouble learning the game, imagine how the first timers are supposed to manage. Hayden and Randall said this isn't just an STO issue, which is true. It's common in older MMOs with long histories. Still, recognizing the problem without taking steps to fix it is a missed opportunity. And I really believe, and look, this is my personal opinion, I never worked in game development, so I might not know what the hell I'm talking about. But again, in my personal opinion, if DECA wants Star Trek Online to grow, that really needs to change. Now, just like tutorials, the topic of older content came up multiple times. Missions like the early Klingon arc and removed episodes from years past are still unavailable. They said that they're having some internal conversations, but again, there's no timeline, no decisions, and no available development time right now. Apparently, part of the reason is scale. Updating these missions would take work from the content, the cutscenes, narratives, and the environment teams. DECA is still getting up to speed after the transition, so the new content definitely remains the priority. Still, the community is right to keep asking, and the one encouraging thing during the stream was that devs seem to understand that fixing this older content is important for making Star Trek Online feel complete. And we all need to recognize, of course, that it's not just going to happen soon. Nobody has a magic wand, and I get it, right? It's part of the game. Now, one very encouraging thing also was revealed during the last night's stream. A key technical update involved the Hellbore Light Starship trait. Previously, this trait could drain 5% of enemy shields per hit, which became way too powerful in elite content where enemies have millions of shield points. So instead of removing the trait's strength entirely, DECA added a limit. The trait now is either going to drain 5% or a maximum of 10,000 shield points per hit, whichever is less. So this keeps it useful in casual play, but it really tones it down for high-end players. And I love this approach because this kind of targeted tuning, not just a blanket nerf, is a really good sign. It really shows DECA is thinking about different types of players, not just the top tier balance. And let's keep it real. Top tier players are the ones who are definitely spending the most amount of money, so it would not be unusual to just cater to the top tier. But this kind of a holistic approach is really encouraging for the future of Star Trek Online. Now, much of the live stream also covered the challenges of moving from Cryptic to DECA. That also included legal delays in communication, global time zone issues, and the massive job of training new team members. Many of DECA's hires have never worked on Star Trek Online before, and Randall said that internal training sometimes felt like digging through layers of history to understand a game that's been around for over a decade. So yes, content updates have been slower, but at least the team is being open about why. And lastly, let's talk communication. The community has made it clear that Discord isn't enough, and while DECA has worked with streamers for events and bundles, um, people like me and many others that I've seen in stream want regular official 10 forward weekly streams. And here's a suggestion, take it for what it's worth, it's just my opinion, but these don't need to be flashy. Even just one or two devs going live on regular basis would help a lot. You know, having a place to ask questions, even if the answers take time, would show that DECA is present and listening. So, DECA's first live stream was honestly both hopeful and honest. The future of storytelling direction looks very promising, and game balance decisions are clearly being made with more care. But when it comes to onboarding, legacy content, and communication, they still need a real attention. Rebuilding Star Trek Online isn't just about missions, it's about the culture, it's about the community. And if DECA wants to welcome new players and keep longtime fans, they really need to give the same effort to community support as they do to story arcs and game mechanics. Now, at the end of the day, I think there's a reason for hope, but there's also work ahead. And what was encouraging to me to see on this stream is that the entire team also acknowledged that. And that's a big thing. Now, if you want to, the full stream is now available on Casual SAB's YouTube channel, since apparently, as way as I understood it, the DECA's Twitch channel doesn't offer video on demand. I'll include the link in the description below so you can watch the full conversation yourself. And of course, a big thank you to Casual SAB for uploading the live stream just hours after it ended, and for providing both a transcript and subtitles for those who need them. Thank you, sir. And that's it for the Temporal Dispatch, but not the conversation. Going forward, our weekly show will stay laser focused on Trek news headlines, while these dispatch episodes will give us space to analyze the big stories in detail. So if you enjoy this, consider dropping a like, maybe sharing it with your fellow captains, and be sure to subscribe to Temporal Star Chronicle. If you have some thoughts on DECA's first showing, drop them in the comments. You know I read them all. And as always, captains, stay curious like you, honorable like a Klingon, logical like a Vulcan, and never stop looking at the stars, because we're Trekkies, and that's what we do.